People's Democratic Party has postponed its inaugural National Working Committee meeting, originally scheduled for Tuesday, following chaotic scenes at its National Secretariat in Wadata Plaza, Abuja. PDP National Chairman Kabiru Turaki blamed the delay on the actions of those undermining democracy and progress. Turaki and other senior party figures, including Governors Seyi Makinde and Bala Mohammed, Oyo and BoT states, secured police protection to enter the Secretariat amid conflicting claims from a viral PDP faction, or rather rival PDP faction. Turaki said flyers were circulated on social media calling for NEC and BoT meetings by individuals he claims are no longer recognized as party members. He argued that those inviting party organs were expelled at the recent National Convention, insisting that the convention's decisions remain supreme. He also called on U.S. President Donald Trump to strengthen democracy in Nigeria. News Central's team on the ground reports that FCT Minister Nyesom has left the premises of the PDP National Headquarters after the intervention of the police, who are now persuading the other group to do the same.
I want to call on President Trump. What is at stake is not just genocide against Nigerian Christians.
For the past 7 hours, Nigerians are living witnesses to the struggle we've been engaged in with those renegade members of our party that were expelled in our national convention in Ibadan. They came here with armed talks like we did predicted to disrupt our meetings. But God so kind, we're able to contain them effectively. Now we have driven them out of the Secretariat, and as you can see, I have entered my office. I've assumed leadership as the elected national chairman. So this struggle, no doubt, is a continuing one. We will continue, we will remain relentless, we should continue to fight. But I want to call on the president. If there's anybody that wants peace in any given society, it should be the leadership. The president should call his minister to order. The kind of conduct that the minister of the FCT had gotten himself engaged in this morning, leading to this afternoon, is unbecoming. How can a serving minister lead talks to come and disrupt a legally arranged meeting? A meeting in respect of notices has been given to the police and other security agencies. If we had not exercised restraint, if we had not controlled our members and our leaders, there will have been bloodshed here. We would have been tear gassed, and I think more than 50 canisters of tear gas had been shot at us. But we remained relentless. I will continue to remain relentless. So I call on all members of PDP all over this country to know that this is what is happening. And should this continue, I will not hesitate to call all members of PDP in Nigeria to assemble here. If they are going to kill us, let them kill us. So I want to call once again on the international community. You've seen what is happening. You've seen what is happening. You've seen the attempts that is now openly being made to destroy and stifle democracy. We will defend democracy. We shall continue to act as the vanguards of democracy. And like I've said, we are prepared to lay down our lives for the purpose of watering and nurturing this nascent democracy that our forefathers had fought arduously.
We also understand the faction of the party loyal to FCT Minister Nyesom has expelled the governors of Oyo, BoT and Zamfara states, Seyi Makinde, Bala Mohammed and Dauda Lawal respectively. Former Board of Trustees Chairman Senator Dolphus Wabara, Senator Kabiru Turaki, Deputy National Chairman South Taufik Arakbaja and others for what they say are anti-party activities. Well, the drama continues. Our correspondents Sumayya Abubakar and Sagir Ibrahim will be joining us. For now, we have Sumayya. Sumayya, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, we would like you to please give us some updates about what's happening there in Abuja. Sumayya, I hope that you can hear us, but if you can't, Sagir, please could you identify if you can hear so we could go on with you.
Good afternoon, Mans.
Grand. Now, Sagir, give us an update on what's happening currently on ground. We are aware that the FCT minister has vacated the premises of the PDP, the Wadata Plaza. We also saw pictures of tear gas being shot at people. Want to know the details, please, if you will.
Good afternoon, Mazino. Thank you so much. It's been indeed an experience. One would say this is crisis reporting and, of course, covering conflict within areas. That was the feel that we got when we were at the Wadata Plaza this morning. But the question is whether there's a war that's going on or some sort of insurgency. The level at which supporters were pelted with tear gas is really one that calls for serious concerns. As you can see, Mazino, I'm currently at the office, and the reason is because we could not literally withstand the continuous peltering of tear gas by men of the Nigerian police force. We have videos to actually confirm the continuous use of tear gas continuously across the over 6 or 7 hours that we've been at the PDP headquarters. They have continuously dispersed crowds and supporters of individuals supporting one faction or the other. But then again, that's what was going on the outside. On the inside, it was also a similar situation, because not just the fact that they were peltering tear gas on individuals who assembled around the PDP National Secretariat, but also when we managed to access the premises within the compound where the PDP building is located. Expectation would have been that maybe they would be so, maybe they would be so magnanimous enough not to do so. But even within these visuals that shown on the screen, you can see even inside the headquarters of the Secretariat, tear gas canister smoke showing. And this just didn't happen once. It happened continuously.
Sagir,
yes.
Sagir, I'm really very interested in knowing exactly what the anatomy of the supporters are. Now, who are these supporters? Who were they supporting? And the police who used tear gas, who were they aiming those canisters at? Because we also see police also amongst the groups of politicians that made it into the plaza. So are we talking about two different groups of police here? And what kind of supporters? Who were these supporters? To whom did they belong, or whom were they pledging their support to?
These were the questions that were on my mind as well when I was in the vicinity of the Wadata Plaza. I'm saying this because at some point you would expect that the police work as one unit, but at some point it was looking like even the police officers themselves were being tear gassed by police officers as well, which begs the question, I don't understand. I thought you were all a team. Why do we have some police officers running alongside journalists being shouted upon and told to leave the premises of the PDP, while other police officers were given, the freedom and the free will to use tear gas canisters, permit me to say at reckless abandon? It just continued to come out almost as if the tear gas canisters were there specifically for the purpose of dispersing individuals who looked like or who they suspected did not have or aligned with their own interest as well. That's what we continue to see.
Okay, then, now one other thing, Sagir. One other thing, Sagir, also very importantly here is the actions of the FCT Minister, Nyesom. We want to know exactly what his conduct was. We saw from last week what it was like when he was with an officer a naval officer. And I'm sure Nigerians are very concerned what his conduct was like today. Was he himself with armed personnel? Were they also responsible for some of the chaos?
Now, Mazino, you asked this question, but then there's information that the Minister of FCT was present at the Wadata Plaza. I also saw his official vehicle, carrying the FCT 01 plate number, confirming that indeed his vehicle was present. But at any point in time throughout our stay there, neither myself nor any other journalist who was present, because of course I tried to confirm whether they cited the FCT minister precisely. And to the best of my knowledge, none of them saw him, but we saw his vehicle, which brought the assumption that the minister of the FCT was there. But up until the time that we were forcefully pushed away and chased away by men of the Nigerian police because we could not withstand their tear gas canisters any longer, we didn't cite Mr. Nyesom.
Just a second now, Sagir. So, Sagir, I'm being told that Sumayya has rejoined this conversation. Sumayya, please, can you confirm that you can hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Now, Sumayya, where is your location? Where are you currently?
Now, currently, I am in front of the PDP Secretariat at the Wadata Secretariat, of course. we had to wait to see the end of this tussle, power tussle that's been happening. And I would start where my colleague Sagir stopped. Immediately after the whole place was engulfed with tear gas and people were asked to shift back, we were on the inside. So from the inside, we saw the minister, Nyesom, Minister of the FCT, make attempt to step out of his car. Now, immediately he stepped out and we saw the governor, Bala Mohammed, standing close to him, Governor BoT. And there was an exchange. Now, this is something that we could not get because it happened so. Bala Mohammed touched him and said, "Where are you going to?" And then the minister, before we know it, the people from each faction just jumped in. So Wike was pushed back inside his car. That was what happened, for that one. But then they had to, of course, stay. Both factions were still in the premises as at even 20 or 10 minutes ago. But then we saw intervention of the commissioner or the deputy commissioner of police, Sharu, approaching, the faction of the Bala Mohammed. He was able to talk to Bala Mohammed, the governor of Bauchi State, Seyi, the governor of Oyo State, and also the national chairman of the PDP, which is Kabiru Turaki. And I heard the conversation. Of course, because the police were involved, they refused to allow us to get some visuals, but I listened into the conversation where the deputy commissioner of police was trying to convince him to convince this faction to exit the building. And the deputy commissioner actually acknowledged himself, saying that he was the one that was able to convince the FCT minister, Nyesom, to step out of the building so that at least there could be a bit of sanity returned to the office. So after that happened, of course, we saw the supporters of that faction saying they don't want to exit that building. So they made their way upstairs, which we were able to go along there. And that was when the national secretary, chairman of the People's Democratic Party made, those clips that were presented earlier.
So, Sumayya, who currently occupies the PDP office at Wadata Plaza now? Who is inside? And what's happening inside?
Yes, inside right now, I would tell you, is empty. We saw that the Deputy Commissioner of Police did not exit this premises until he was sure that there was nobody inside. So this is closed. But based on what we saw, since we were able to go into the building with the faction of Bala Mohammed, Seyi and Kabiru Turaki, we saw them come out, people, and they were the one holding the keys, the locks, and they were locking it, emphasizing that the people emphasizing lock the door and get the key. So that was what we saw. Now, so for the main building, I would tell you for the plaza, it is Bala Mohammed's faction that own that key. They're holding it. And then for the entire building, of course, from the gate, I would say the commissioners are the one in charge. But then nobody right here is on the premises. As you can see behind me, it's quite empty. I would say it's been a lot of chaos. It's been a lot of stamping of authority. Everyone is saying we are not going to back down. But then each faction was affected by this chaos. That one is really clear.
Sumayya, since you're on ground, I want to know who exactly was most responsible for the chaos, the tear gassing, the police, or use of state instrument, the police now. What faction? What side?
Now, based on what we saw, I saw the fact that we walked in and it was the Wike, that's the Sam Ayahu's faction that was in there. Now, of course, earlier in the day, we had a discussion with the secretary, the national secretary of the PDP, that's Sam Ayahu, and that was what was happening. But then immediately we got into the building, we were already setting up. We saw the Bala Mohammed faction come into the building, and that was how it started. So based on little discussions here and there, that was being passed around, we also heard that the Bala Mohammed faction were the first one to post to make saying that they are going to have a meeting here, and then immediately the Wike faction posted. Now, of course, that is something that I cannot confirm because it was just something around. But then what we saw is, the first part was the Wike's faction being here, and then it was invaded. And since then, it was a case of back and forth. Now, later on, the Bala Mohammed faction were able to stand the authority, go in there, and then we started the discussion with them, which we were able to capture on our trip report. But then afterwards, there was an invasion again. So they kept, just interrupting each other. It was just a case of deliberate means to stop any meeting from any faction to happen. One faction is saying, if this does not happen, then I'm not. The other one would not also have it. So it's been crazy. But one thing is clear from this place is that PDP is really facing internal crisis right now. We don't know which faction, it's really the PDP, or if at all there will be some.
All right. Thank you very much, Sumayya.
Currently, that is, the situation on ground. Everybody is claiming right. Everybody is saying, I did this first. I initiated the BoT and the NEC meeting first, and the other is saying they are being ambushed. So it is a case of he says and she says.
Well, thank you very much, Sumayya. And let me get back to Sagir with our final question. Sagir, first of all, I couldn't help but notice that you're in the office and Sumayya is still out there. Why did you run? But that aside, the groups may have dispersed today. What then happens to the national headquarters of the party? And are they planning to regroup at any time, Sagir?
That's the question, and put the question aside. But then for those individuals who have taken over the PDP Secretariat as it is, finally, before getting to the office, we saw the visuals that the National Chairman Kabiru Turaki had addressed from the office of the National Chairman, that they are on ground and they would fight with whatever it takes to ensure that they defend democracy. He also, in the same breath, called on the international community, particularly the United States government, to not just intervene in the activities and allegations of Christian genocide, but also look into activities perhaps we call it Nigeria's democracy and how it is failing. But the question of whether that is the job of another country to intervene in yet a sovereign nation's democracy, that's what we discuss another time. But as it seems like they have the final laugh, the Turaki-led National Working Committee. That's what it looks like at the moment. Whether the Wike faction are going to come up later with another game plan, well, we can only wait to see how that happens. And then, Maz, finally, you're in the studio and you're asking me why I ran away. Maz, I was told tear gas canister severally throughout this morning. Up until this point, it's not fair to ask me why I ran away. Well, that was the only play I had in my card to come back and, of course, continue to observe developments. Back to you, Maz.
Just in case you didn't know, here at News Central, we already know this. Where there's tear gas, we send Sagir Ibrahim. Thank you very much, Sagir. Thank you very much, Sumayya. Please get back to the office. Please be safe. Thank you.